Hey, it's Brad. Thanks for checking out my vintage 1962 Westinghouse Coke machine model WC78MD. Here is how I acquired this machine, its history prior to me, along with some interesting facts about it. Its model number, WC78MD, has a hidden meaning behind it. Let's break it down. WC stands for Westinghouse Coke, as Westinghouse also at the time made vending machines for other soft drink companies like Pepsi, Royal Crown, etc., etc. The number 78 means it can hold 78 bottles, having 6 different selections of flavors. This machine was the smallest of its lineup, with 2 other Select-O-Matic machines being larger in size. It's just the right size to put in a home for a vintage look, and that's exactly what I have done with it since I've restored it. It originally sat on Delville Avenue in Delville, Alabama, on the front porch of an insurance agency building called Continental Insurance, about 100 yards from the Fort Rucker Military Base Gate. Continental first went into business around the 1950s. Determining that this machine was manufactured in 1962, I'm assuming it was placed at the Continental building new so that young soldiers, before returning to base, could buy Coke, as it would have been at that time the last stop before the Fort Rucker Gate. If I'm correct, this machine would have cost you about 10 cents to purchase an all-new king-size Coke bottle Coke. In addition to rolling out the new king-size Coke bottle back then, the Coca-Cola Corporation in Atlanta started manufacturing Coke in cans also. This particular machine was one of the first that would vend either the Coke bottle or a Coke can, manufactured by Westinghouse for Coca-Cola. The Select-O-Matic dial was just prior to the invention of push-button selection machines, which came out in the mid to late 1960s. My father and his business partner purchased Continental Insurance, its building and contents, in the early 1980s. The machine was still on the front porch at that time, but sometime later, my dad and his partner decided to remove it and put it into an enclosed storage trailer that my dad owned just down the road from their office. Dad says he doesn't remember why they made the decision to put it in storage, but after a few years, sometime around the late 80s, my dad decided that it was time to clean out the storage trailer, and he was going to need my help. When I opened it and started moving stuff around and out, I discovered the machine and asked Dad if I could have it. He said, "Brad, it probably doesn't work," but I insisted we take it. When I got home and plugged it in and proved Dad wrong by discovering it was indeed working after all. But after a while, the cooling fan quit. I had my money I earned working from cutting grass. I decided I somehow was going to try and get a new one. So I asked my mom to take me to the Coca-Cola plant in downtown Dothan because I wasn't even old enough to drive. We get there and I was informed a replacement fan was no longer made, so I basically gave up on it and thought one day maybe I would come across one and get it going again. For about the next 25 plus or so years, it sat under a pole barn with a dirt floor at my mom's, getting lots of surface rust on it. Then late February 2019, one night around dark, I got to thinking about how I could get it going again and restore it while sitting at my home in Dothan. Then I made the decision to get in my truck, go to my mom's, and get it that night. I had originally just thought because it was small, I could literally just back my truck up and slide it in there. I wouldn't need any help. But it wasn't that easy. I had forgotten how heavy it was. It took every bit of the strength I had to load it all by myself. Once I got it to my house, I saw how filthy it was and in bad need of a paint job, but I wasn't doing none of that until I absolutely got it running. Rats had eaten up the power cord, so I wired a new one up to it and plugged it in, and the compressor kicked on. The refrigeration line started getting cold, but I still needed a cooling fan to circulate the cool air. So I improvised by totally disassembling a metal desk fan, using it in place of the one that no longer worked. I wired it up to the machine and decided if it was still running and cold in 24 hours, I would start sanding and painting on it. I discovered the decals it had on it were the wrong ones for the machine. which meant someone had painted it once upon a time. Once I started sanding down the layers of paint, I figured out the paint scheme that it had was wrong. Then I sanded down to its original water release decals applied in 1962 at the Westinghouse factory. Back then, vinyl lettering was not even invented or used. It was water release decals on these machines. Fast forward a whole month later, it is complete. After working on it each night for a couple hours after I got off work and weekends when I had off. You'll see before and after pics on the next few slides. Hope you enjoy taking a trip down memory lane with me. And oh yeah, you know, since I'm in radio broadcasting, I've had to dig up some vintage Coke commercials from the early 1960s for nostalgia. Sit back, have a Coke, and enjoy that refreshing feeling.
Hey, wait for me! Zing! King-size Coca-Cola gives you that refreshing new feeling. Refreshing new feeling. Refreshing new feeling. Coke and the King has more for you. Coke and the King's your best buy, too. Coke and the King's the great big value. King-size Coke.
Yes, people with Sing go for Coke and the King, because even after your first long drink, there's still lots more than you think.
Coca-Cola gives you that refreshing new feeling. Sing! Get the king-size Coke. King-size Coca-Cola gives you that refreshing new feeling. Sing! Get the king-size Coke.
Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, for extra fun. Take more than one, take an extra carton of Coke.
Summer's the time when you need something more than a soft drink. So reach for ice-cold Coca-Cola and lots of it. Nothing soft about the taste of Coke. It's unmistakable. And Coke lifts your spirits, boosts your energy, gives you the refreshment you're looking for. Pick up a carton tomorrow. And for extra fun, take more than one.
For extra fun, take more than one. Take an extra carton of Coke. Things go better with Coca-Cola. Things go better with Coke. An extra carton of Coke.
Look for these more than one displays wherever you shop. And follow that good advice. Take more than one.
Go